Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Om Sthapakaya Cha Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Sthapakaya Cha Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namaha. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, who established universal religion, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God Incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. Today's topic I have chosen from the Gospel. It is a Vedantic topic. Wake up from the waking state. Sri Ramakrishna has given teachings on Vedanta in the Gospel. He has given instructions on bhakti. He has given instructions on karma and also how to meditate. He also has given most wonderful Vedantic teachings in the Gospel. Wake up from the waking state. That means, though we are all in the waking state, to wake up from that state means this waking state is also a kind of sleep state, a kind of dream state, according to Vedanta. Because we are in this type of waking state, we are not able to realize the truth, and we have not realized the absolute reality. Sri Ramakrishna said to Mahimacharan, in the light of Vedantic reasoning, the world is illusory. It is unreal as a dream. The Supreme Soul is the witness of the three states of waking, dream and deep sleep. Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. Sri Ramakrishna explains this state, this Vedantic theme, through a parable. There was a farmer who lived in the countryside. He was a real jnani. Who had woken up from the waking state. He earned his living by farming. He was a married person. So it doesn't mean that householders will not be able to realize the truth. So truth is not the exclusive property of a particular group. It belongs to everyone. Everyone has that inherent nature of the truth. After many years, this farmer got a son. He named the son Haru. Naturally, when the boy is the only son, how much they love their son. Their whole being is focused on their son. And it is but natural, since this child was the one precious gem in the family. An account of his religious nature. The farmer was loved and respected by all the villagers. An account of his religious nature. He would always remain calm and tranquil, always aware of the reality. One day, he was working in the field when a neighbor came running to him and told him, "Look, Haru had an attack of cholera. So the boy is in serious condition." The farmer at once returned home and arranged for treatment for the boy. He did what should be done. But in spite of all best medical treatment, the only son, Haru, died. So you can imagine how much grief it had caused in the family. All the family members were deeply grief-stricken. But this farmer, the father, he acted as if nothing had happened. This was great surprise for all the people around. Not only that, it was shocking to them. How is this farmer, the father, he is so unconcerned, as it were, at the death of his only son? It was a great puzzle for them to understand the nature of this farmer. Well, he consoled his family and he told them, what's the use of grieving? It is futile. What's the use of grieving? So, he meant what he said. He went back to his field, engaged himself in work. After some time, he returned home. He found his wife was weeping even more bitterly. She became terribly angry with her husband. She said to him, "How heartless and brutal you are. You don't have even one teardrop, even after seeing the death of your only son." But the farmer did not get upset. He did not become angry with the wife. On the other hand, he replied quietly, "Well, do you want to know the reason why I did not weep by the death of the son? Look here, I will tell you the reason. I had a very vivid dream last night. In the dream, I became a king. I was a father of 8 sons and was very happy with them. All the children were bright, looking good and pretty. So I was enjoying my life immensely. But then I woke up. When I woke up, now I am greatly perplexed. Should I weep for those 8 sons or for this one son, Haru?" He really meant what he said, because this gross state is also a kind of dream for a person who has realized the truth. The farmer was a Jnani, man of wisdom, a realized soul. He realized that the waking state is as unreal as the dream state. There is only one eternal substance, and that is the Atman. These are the words of Sri Ramakrishna. How that Vedantic theme has been explained through this story, and how really we are to wake up from this waking state. That's the meaning of going from unreal to real. That's the meaning of lighting the lamp of knowledge to dispel the darkness of ignorance. It is because of ignorance we feel that this state is real and it is everything. Even in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, in the night, at all these times, people are dreaming and dreaming. Not knowing they are dreaming, thinking that they are really living the actual life. A person waking up after the night sleep, he had a profound sleep previous night, very refreshing. So when he woke up, he was in a very pleasant mood, not knowing much about the immediate surroundings. There was another person. He had a nice dream at night. He loved the dream so much and he was enjoying the dream so much, he didn't want to break. And there was third one. He dreamt he had become a king. but he had to suffer a nightmarish misfortune. Thank God these were all dreams. When they wake up, they find, oh, it's a dream. It's nothing but a dream. Same way, when you realize the truth, then you see, oh, what is this? All along I was in a very ignorant state. So in the story told by Sri Ramakrishna, the farmer faced a disastrous reality. His only son had died. In front of the inconsolably wailing wife and family, the farmer perhaps could not determine or discriminate between the two calamities which one could really distress him. What is this discrimination or determination referred to above? In Sanskrit, there's a specific term. It is called Vivek. In Taittiriya Aranyaka, it says, it is this knowledge that makes the difference between the human beings and all others in the animal kingdom. Shankaracharya, the great advocate of Vedanta, he discusses the amplitude of this word in a very elaborate manner in his masterpiece Vivekananda. Vivekananda, crest jewel of discrimination. Very thoroughly analyzed for everyone to understand the nature of the things. Vivekananda means, Viveka means discrimination. Chuda means crest. Vivekananda means the crest of discrimination. Mani means jewel. Vivekananda means the crest jewel of discrimination. It is called the crest jewel for many reasons. This discrimination leads to the step which is to draw from the analogy of Sri Ramakrishna on the last rung of the ladder, after which it is the terrace or destination. Shankaracharya takes a three-pronged approach to explain the whole gamut of Viveka. Three-pronged approach. One is potential. Shankaracharya says that the power of discrimination is there in everyone. There is not much difference between an ordinary human being and a wise person in respect of this potential power. If we realize that this life is a continuous struggle against nature to express our inner principles, then it is the power of discrimination which plays the most vital role in the system. Latent it remains in the so-called ordinary people. So, ordinariness is not a thing that describes us, but it is our wish and ability to use this knowledge of discrimination which make all the distinction. It is surely in respect of this intrinsic power in us that the scriptures set a common ultimate goal for all. The second is dynamism. The innate power, no doubt, pines for its manifestation. For this yearning is inherent in all potential power. One becomes one's own friend or foe. Atma iva bandhur atma ripurait manaha. Bhagavan Sri Krishna says in the Gita. Depending upon one's reaction or response to this animated urge of the potency, which is how we appraise the level of one's responsibility. Shankaracharya says in the Vivekananda, when the four qualifications including Viveka are present in the aspirants, the longing for the goal is valid. When they are absent, it is not. This logic is called co-presence and co-absence, Anvaya and Vyatireka. A Vedantic study presupposes these four qualifications of the student. One is Viveka, discrimination. Second, Vairagya, dispassion. Third, Sampatti, virtues. And fourth, Mumukshutva, desire for liberation. It is like if you are able to lift 80 kilograms of weight, then you will be qualified for this first round of the competition. Then the coach takes over and gives instructions how to improve upon the performance. It's just like that. After a long discourse on all the aspects of Arjun's immediate duty, Lord Krishna tells him that the response to the call of duty is Arjun's and his alone. In general, in the modern context, the training for using the discriminating knowledge starts in the family. The family is the basic social unit. Its composition has values as a bonding agent. Viveka does not depend on any time frame. It pervades the whole span of one's life. One doubt needs clarification in this respect. The faculty of discrimination depends heavily on reasoning. But the scriptures say that the goal is beyond reasoning. Then are we to believe that the scriptural approach to reality is irrational? How to reconcile these aspects? As to that, the teachers say that it is not irrational because it does not deny the weight, function and utility of reasoning. Rather, it says the way that leads one beyond reasoning is through proper reasoning. Through the mind, you have to go beyond the mind. That's the way. So through proper reasoning, you must go beyond reasoning, which should be based on a positive urge to know. According to the scriptures, reasoning is one of the three components of valid knowledge. The scriptural data, the reasoning, and the experience. The scriptures advise us to use reasoning based on scriptural data and our practical experience. Swanubhuti anusarena, and not on speculation. There are two types of discrimination to be practiced. The first of these two vivekas is called nitya nitya vastu viveka, meaning discrimination between the permanent and the transient. Sri Ramakrishna calls it sat asat vastu vichar, sat asat vastu vichar, discrimination between the real and the unreal. And when we are required to use our latent power of discrimination, our first consideration will be to look at the permanence and the transience of things. This viveka is fundamental, for before embarking upon any goal, one should be convinced about the goal itself. Discrimination is the means to arrive at the conclusion in this respect. The scriptures try to impress upon us the idea that if we are sufficiently inquisitive to solve the problem of birth and death, we should look for a permanent solution, not a momentary one. Hence the idea of discrimination called Shreyas Preyas Viveka. Shreyas Preyas. It comes in Kathopanishad. That means selectable and delectable, pleasant and good. You have to discriminate between preferable and pleasurable. Very important. If a person doesn't use his discriminating power properly, he will be in bondage and suffering. So one has to become wise, one has to get training, one must be educated spiritually. One must aspire for Adhyatma Vidya, spiritual knowledge. So, between the permanent and the transient, one has to choose the one which fulfills one's purpose. The second type of Viveka should hinge on the first type. It is called Dharma Viveka, which is Dharma, which is Adharma, which takes care of all the relations which relate the aspirant to the above goal and help the person to decide between just relation, duty, and unjust relation, duty. He'll be able to discriminate properly. There are various paths which lead to the goal through the performance of this Dharma Viveka. Even for material purposes, it is perhaps the most important tool in the hands of successful people. These two types of Vivekas present the dynamic aspect of the potential power of discrimination. There is the third one, that is the awakening. What is the upshot of this dynamism? It generates Viveka Jnana, which forms the radiant jewel. A Siddha or perfect soul sees the real as the real alone, for it is a positive experience. Swami Vivekananda calls it a conscious dream. Conscious dream. It is not like coming out of the dream and confirming it as unreal or having a feeling in the dream itself that one is dreaming, but it emphasizes one's being conscious about the presence and reality of the dreamer, which in other words means that we are required not to be sure about the unreality of the dream alone, but to be conscious about the reality of the dreamer. As for example, when we wake up from sleep, we experience dream to be a dream. Similarly, when we wake up from the waking state, Jagrat Avastha, when we wake up from the waking state to self-consciousness, we see the relative world as a conscious dream, normally remaining in the Jagrat Avastha. We compare the Jagrat Avastha with the Swapna Avastha, dream state. Therefore, the comparison is bound to be heavily and unduly biased to the Jagrat Avastha, and our assessment becomes unjustly relative to one of the two comparable states. This fallacy is resolved by rousing ourselves to the self-conscious activity, dynamism, as termed by Swami Vivekananda, which is done from the third party position called the stateless self-consciousness, that is Turiya. This is like waking up from a waking state. Sri Krishna's comparison is on the same line when he says the state in which ordinary people keep awake is regarded as a dream by the self-conscious ones. The scriptures also affirm that the witness to the states should be different from them. It seems this is the type of knowledge the farmer in the story told by Sri Ramakrishna had heard at that moment. So we find that he could not determine between two events that were equally unfortunate, which one could really overwhelm him. A very commonplace but critical coincidence of two similar experiences of Swapna and Jagrat Avastha has been presented in the story. And luckily, so far, the farmer, it jerked the dreaming farmer to wake up to a conscious dream, to wake up from the waking state. One may feel pained about this cold-blooded attitude of the farmer, who is the father of the dead son. Sri Ramakrishna would say, yes, it does. It aches very excruciatingly. His comparison is, the pain would be as severe as the squeezing of a towel. Yet, the farmer remained unmoved. However, Sri Ramakrishna ends the story thus. The farmer was a jnani. Therefore, he realized that the waking state is as unreal as the dream state. There is only one eternal substance, and that is the Atman. And we can turn to the Gita for consolation. Lord Krishna says in the Gita, him the weapons cleave not. He is indestructible. To a jnani, not only the death, but the birth also is as unreal as a dream, because the self has neither birth nor death. The blurring effect of unreality does not affect a Siddha's vision due to this knowledge that is born of discrimination. For Sri Ramakrishna, this knowledge was natural, so he could see the minds of people like things in a glass case and assess them on their terms. The positive result of the discrimination is thus the highest, and therefore it forms the crust jewel of discrimination. Whether the dynamism of Viveka is going right can be tested. If it gives rise to Vairagya, this passion to the Anitya, prayas and Adharma, then one knows that the practice of Viveka has been effective. This dispassion, when perfected, becomes the first of the six splendors of Ishvara. One of the six. That is, what are the six? Vairagya, dispassion, jnana, knowledge, Aishwarya, splendor, bala, power, virya, control, tejas, effulgence. It is like a lighthouse that gives direction to the people. It may not illumine all, but all can see it and adjust their direction. Shankaracharya took it up for an elaborate treatment, for it is the first of the sadhana chatushtaya. Fourfold means for those who have mumukshata, desire for liberation, desire to wake up from the waking state. So, very nicely this theme, wake up from the waking state, has been taught to us by Sri Ramakrishna in the Gospel through the story of the farmer. And because he was well established in the reality, he really felt everything else is unreal. It's only Brahman that is real. Brahman alone is real. Everything else is unreal. So why should we weep for the unreal? That's why he said, it is futile to grieve. It is futile to grieve. Let us focus on this theme and let us try to wake up ourselves from the waking state, and then really you will enjoy the meaning of peace and happiness in life. Page 850, Sri Ramakrishna is speaking to the devotees. It was afternoon. Dr. Sarkar arrived accompanied by his son Amrita and Hem. Narendra and other devotees were present. Sri Ramakrishna was talking aside to Amrit. He asked him, "Do you meditate?" He further said to him, "Do you know what one feels in meditation? The mind becomes like a continuous flow of oil. It thinks of one object only, and that is God. It does not think of anything else." Sri Ramakrishna was talking to the devotees. He said to the doctor, "Your son does not believe in the incarnation of God. That's all right. It doesn't matter if he does not believe in it. Your son is a nice boy. Why shouldn't he be? Does a mango tree of the fine Bombay variety ever bear sour mangoes?" How firm his faith in God is. That man is a true man whose mind dwells on God. He alone is a man whose spiritual consciousness has been awakened and who is firmly convinced that God alone is real and all else illusory. He does not believe in divine incarnation, but what does it matter? It is enough if he believes that God exists and that all this universe and its living beings are the manifestations of his power, like a rich man and his garden. Some say that there are 10 divine incarnations, some 24, while others say that there are innumerable incarnations. If you see anywhere a special manifestation of God's power, you may know that God has incarnated himself there. That's my opinion. There's another view, according to which God has become all that you are, all that you see. It is like a bell fruit, which consists of 3 parts: seeds, shell, and flesh. That which is the absolute has also its relative aspect, and that which is the relative has also its absolute aspect. You can't set aside the absolute and understand just the relative. And it is only because there is the relative that you can transcend it step by step and reach the absolute. So long as I consciousness exists, a man cannot go beyond the relative. Through meditation, he can negate the phenomena following the process of neti and reach the absolute, but nothing can really be denied, as in the instance of the bell fruit. Doctor said, quite true. Master said, Kacha had been immersed in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. When his mind was coming down to the relative plane, someone asked him, what do you see now? Kacha replied, I see that the universe is soaked, as it were, in God. Everything is filled with God. It is God alone who has become all that I see. I do not know what to accept and what to reject. In my opinion, Sri Ramakrishna says, one should realize both the Nitya and the Leela, and then live in the world as the servant of God. Hanuman saw both the personal God and the formless reality. He then lived as a devotee of God, as his servant. Master Mahashaya said to himself, so we must accept both, the absolute and the Leela, the absolute and the relative. Since the introduction of the Vedanta philosophy in Germany, some of the European philosophers too have been thinking along that line. But the Master says that one cannot realize both the Nitya and the Leela without complete renunciation. That is to say, without totally giving up lust and gold. Such a person must be a true renouncer. He must be totally detached from the world. Here lies the real difference between him and such European philosophers as Hegel. In Dr. Sarkar's opinion, God created men and ordained that every soul should make infinite progress. He should not believe that one man was greater than another. That was why he did not believe in the doctrine of divine incarnation. The doctor said, I believe in infinite progress. If that is not so, then what's the use of leading a mere 5 or 6 years existence in the world? I would rather hang myself with a rope round my neck. Incarnation. What is that? To cover before a man who excretes filth? It is absurd. But if you speak of man as a reflection of God's light, yes, that I admit. Let us stop here. So, we are all in the waking state. In order to wake up from the waking state, we should practice spiritual discipline. Prayer, worship, meditation, reading of scriptures, analytical approach. With these aids, one will be able to realize the absolute reality. Any questions to ask? No? All right. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. O name stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart. O bring its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self drown deep in the waves of His bliss, tasting His nectar at every step, bathing His name that bought for very selves. Various are thy names, O Lord. In each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my measuredness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind be humbler than a blade of grass, be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of pain. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy consider him as dust beneath thy feet. How I long for the day when an instant separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, and my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence. Though it tears my soul asunder. O thou who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers. May all realize what is good. May all be actuated by noble thoughts. May all rejoice. May all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy. May all be free from disease. May all realize what is good. May none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous. May the virtuous reign tranquility. May the tranquil be free from bonds. May the free make others free. May good bread all people. May the sovereign righteously rule the earth. May all beings ever attain what is good. May the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds sprout in time. May the earth be blessed with crops. May all countries be freed from calamity. May holy men live without fear. May the Lord of the destroyer of the sins, the presiding beauty of all sacred works, be satisfied. For he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.